Hey everybody, it's Dr. V. I am here with a reading for you for the Lionsgate portal that's happening today. Many of you have probably heard a lot about this. Again, I am not an astrologer, so I'm not somebody who can speak a ton about the specific astrology around that. If you would like to get connected with an astrologer who is amazing, go check out my friend Dr. Laura Tad over at Mythic Sky. She does amazing work. Spirit, please use me as a clear channel for communication. May the messages that come through be in the highest good of all those concerned. I draw a sacred circle around this space, setting my ego to the outside. I call upon my guides, higher wisdom, archangels, council, ancestors, personal guides, to be with me and to guide these messages. Thank you. So the Lion's Gate is today. It happens every year. And it is definitely a big energy. So a lot of people have been feeling it. If you've been feeling anxious, emotional, maybe even just feeling some feelings of lethargy, feeling just very emotional and not really knowing why. You could be feeling some like physical Ascension symptoms. Sometimes people feel like flu-like, or they might feel like an earache or just extremely tired. It feels like your intuition is heightened and things are increasing for you in that arena. It's likely because of this Lion's Gate. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself, taking some time to move, go for a walk, go to yoga, spend some time in meditation, just really being in that space where you are allowing the messages and allowing Spirit to speak to you. This is about heart activation. The Lion's Gate is a lot about heart chakra activation, so a lot of you may be feeling some of that. It's also about learning to let go of what no longer serves us so that we can rise into who we're meant to be. So there's a lot that's happening right now, a lot of old things that may be coming up. You may have been contacted by people from your past, old lovers, old friends, people who you just really recognize that they're coming back to maybe end or close something, or for you to see how far you've come and to learn something. There's definitely that energy, okay? That could be coming up for you. But right now, it's literally about opening your heart and learning to live in your true authenticity. So I want to get some messages, okay, and see what Spirit has to say, and I'll just continue to intersperse what I know and what's coming through along with the cards. So, Spirit, what is the overall purpose of this Lion's Gate? Okay, we've got the Two of Tomes in reverse, Eight of Tomes in reverse, and the Visionary. Beautiful. So the Two of Tomes in reverse is about balance. Okay, so in the upright, it's about coming into balance. It's about being in a space of being able to keep your wits about you. In this case, it's saying somebody is out of balance, and I get this a lot. I get this a lot when I do readings or when I'm in read comments or get messages from people, that a lot of people on this twin flame divine love journey have been out of balance, have been really focusing a lot on their twin, focusing a lot on really the connection to the detriment of other aspects of their life. And so what this is saying is like, look, if it's coming to light right now, if you're looking at your life and you're looking at your energy expenditures, and you're like, yeah, I've been spending a lot of time focusing on this and focusing on the outcome I desire, and I've been neglecting myself physically or spiritually or emotionally, whatever that is. This is the call to say, you got to come back into balance, because if not, you're going to fall over and you're going to burn out, and that doesn't serve anybody. It's literally Spirit saying it's time for you to take a step back, self-evaluate, and look at how you're spending your life. Every month, so I use this thing, it's called the Law of Attraction Planner, and it has a month in review, and every month you kind of look at what you've done, and it gives this there's a wheel that shows balance. You fill it out according to what you've done in your schedule, so it's like you can see where you're in balance and out of balance. I strongly recommend that, because it's easy to get out of balance when you're in this type of connection. So it's really important, Spirit saying it's time to really get in balance. This Lion's Gate is offering you the opportunity right now to be able to examine what it is that you have been doing, where you've been spending your time, where you need to realign your energies and make decisions that will help you get to your highest purpose. Because right now we're ascending. This is an ascension process. People are taking the next step to bringing forth their purpose, what they're supposed to be doing and bringing into this world. And if you're not doing that, if you're not spending your time and investing in that, then you're kind of missing your opportunity. Spirit's saying it's time to reevaluate that. So this is saying, this card is about really like failing to look outside the box. And it says like an energy of being set in your ways, of being like, this is how it has to be, and this is the only way it can be. Again, I see that a lot in the twin flame community. Comments where people will say things like, well, what's the point of this if we're not going to come into union in this life? Or I just want to be in a relationship with my twin, and I just want this. And you know what? I totally get it. Because of course, like, why wouldn't any of us want that, right? It's like you know that kind of amazing love that you feel. Like, I understand it. I totally do. Emotionally, I get it. But when we get too stuck in that, we get too set in our ways. Like, if it has to be this way, or it's not real, or it has to look this way, or I'm not going to be happy, or my life path has to take this particular road, or it's not real. Whenever we get stuck in that, like it has to be this or it has to be that, then we don't allow ourselves the freedom of growth and experience. We dismiss the newer and like innovative ways of being. It's like I'm thinking about people who have like what we call a one-track mind, where all they can see is one thing. And it's like, if they're looking and they open the refrigerator and they expect the pickles to be in a certain spot, and somebody has moved the pickles, and they will literally sit there and look in the refrigerator, and because it's not in the spot that they think it's supposed to be, they are like, the pickles aren't here. What happened to the pickles? And then somebody else goes and looks, and they're like, they're right here on the door. That's what this is. It's like people that are so invested in something that they can't see the forest for the trees. This is an invitation. This 888 portal right now is an invitation to say, hey, maybe it's time to take a step back and look at this from a different perspective. Maybe I need to see things a little bit differently, and allow ourselves the opportunity to do that. Yes, it's not easy. It's challenging to be able to do that, but that's part of spiritual ascension. Part of spiritual ascension and growth is literally learning how to release old beliefs and old things that no longer serve us, and to be able to step into a new way of being. I've mentioned to you all before that I used to work in a mega church, a Christian mega church. And I actually ran into one of the pastors who was there when I was there. This was years and years and years ago. I haven't seen this guy in probably 15 or more years. Like, this is the first time that he met my kids, and Gabe's almost 12. So, it's like, it's been a long time. But it was interesting to sit there and talk to this man and realize just how far I've grown in this process, because, sitting there talking with somebody that I've known for a long time. So this is about learning to let go of beliefs, like letting go of that Christianity and that belief system. For me, was challenging. It challenged everything, but I had to release the religiosity to be able to move into spirituality. And I feel like that's where a lot of people are right now. Whether it's releasing your beliefs and your understanding about the twin flame journey, whether it's releasing beliefs around yourself, around what you think is supposed to happen, and just being open to the mystery, whatever it is, this is an opportunity for you to be able to explore something new and something different. So then we've got the visionary. This is, again, about spirituality, truth-seeking, self-determination, what you believe about mysticism. This is literally about, this card, to me, all of these together are saying it's time to ascend. This Lionsgate portal is about ascension. It's an invitation to ascend. It's an invitation for people who are on this journey to say, okay, not my will, but thy will, to Spirit, to be willing to surrender our attachments and our expectations that we have for people, ourselves, and what this journey is supposed to look like, even what our lives are supposed to look like, and just be willing to go along with what Spirit says and with the guidance that we're getting. So I want to pull a card from the Wisdom. What is this? The Wisdom of the Hidden Realms by Colette Baron Reed. Just another message, Spirit, about the purpose of this Lion's Gate, please. Interesting. The Ice Queen. It says ideas preserved, non-action, and entitlement. This card, and I've pulled it before, but I want to reiterate this message. This is about putting something on ice for a while. It's saying it's not the time. Something needs to be put on pause. It doesn't mean that you surrender and that you let, like, it does mean that you surrender, but what it doesn't mean that when I say these things like, you know, releasing and letting go, I'm not saying that you have to be like, I'm never going to come into union with my twin, or I'm never going to, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying sometimes we have to release things and let what needs to happen. It's very, very difficult. Trust me, I get it. I'm going to liken this to a personal situation. One of my kids had a major surgery as an infant, and there's this piece as a mother where I was, you know, leaving my child in the hands of the surgeon. And when they went into the operating room, I'm standing out there, and it was a major surgery. So we're not talking about like a tonsillectomy. I'm talking like this is a surgery where my kid could die. And I'm leaving my child with this surgeon. There's nothing I can do. I was completely powerless in that situation. There was nothing that I could do to change the outcome. Like, the outcome was going to be whatever the outcome was going to be. There was nothing that I could do other than just believe and have faith that my child would come back to me, and that my child would come back to me healed and whole and, you know, ready for the next phase. This is what I'm talking about right now. If you're feeling called to release and called to let go of the outcome, what I'm asking, what Spirit's asking, is, can you have that kind of faith in me? Like, when I left my child in this operating room, I went to the waiting room, and I literally was like laying on the bench in the waiting room, and I fell asleep. Like, who falls asleep when their kid's having surgery? I did, because I had so much faith and so much trust that everything was going to be fine, that I wasn't bothered by it. And so that's what I feel like Spirit is saying here, is like, can you trust and release the outcome and just believe that if you have a promise, if Spirit has promised you something, if you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that that this situation is going to heal and come back together in a positive way, can you trust that? Can you put it on ice and just say, okay, for right now, I'm going to focus on me. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to get my paper right, stack money, physically get settled. Can I focus on that? Can I literally just go and into a piece of rest and taking care of myself and self-nurturing while this process is happening, while, you know, the miracle maker, Spirit, divine, the God, source, energy, universe, whatever term you use, well, Spirit is doing their thing. Can I take care of me and just put this on ice and surrender the outcome? I really feel like that's an important message. So, Spirit, what is the advice that you have for twin flames during this Lion's Gate? Wow. This does not surprise me at all. Oh wow, this is all. Okay, so the Mystic of Vials, this is somebody who has mastered their emotions. This is somebody, look, that it's like the storm is in the bottle and this person is not bothered. This is a person who's like completely in control of their own emotions. And I don't mean, when I say in control, I don't mean in a rigid way, because that I want to be clear about that. Like, it doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It doesn't mean denying your emotions. It doesn't mean any of that. It literally is just saying being in a space of mastering your emotions, of recognizing like that my feelings are real. Absolutely, feelings are real, but feelings don't have to dictate our behaviors. We can feel what we feel, and we can still go about our path without making decisions that are going to cause us pain. So it's like, honor and have space for your feelings. Like, sometimes if you have feelings, you don't have to act on all of those. This is a person who understands that feelings are feelings. They're real, but they're not the truth about things, okay? Sometimes, like, you feel despair, and it's not necessarily the truth of the situation. It could be your old wounds. It could be other things that are happening. And this is a person who has mastered their emotions, who is no longer being pulled around by whatever feeling they have, and they're just kind of like, okay, this is what it is. Then we've got the Five of Tomes. This is a person who's coming out of the cold. If you look at it in the upright, this is a person who's sitting outside the library, burning books to stay warm. And it's like, why not just go in the library, knock on the door, see if there's some place warm you can stay. Well, in reverse, that's what the person has done. The person is like, okay, I'm going to come out of the cold because, like, why am I sitting out here in the, in the desert or in the cold when I could literally just go knock on this door and be welcomed in? Perhaps be welcomed in. There's no guarantees. Maybe you won't get welcomed in. However, it's important to just recognize that there is an option. And this is what I'm saying. What I want to get through is very clearly is that there is an option here. There is a choice. Being in this twin flame journey does not mean that you have to be in pain, and it doesn't mean that you have to be suffering. If you're in a space of feeling a lot of pain and suffering because of the situation, coming out of the cold, how can you shift that energy? How can you shift it so that you're in control of your emotions aren't controlling you? How can you come in from out of the cold? What decisions do you need to make? I was talking with somebody this morning. I did a quick coaching session with someone this morning about this, and one of the things was about not being in, not for like staying, what's the word I'm looking for, continuing to be in contact. It's like if the two of you have already determined that right now this isn't going to be a good fit, or they're in a karmic situation, or they're not mentally or emotionally or physically available at this point, what is the purpose of really staying in contact if all it's doing is causing you pain? It's like, at what point do you say, okay, well, I don't want to be in pain anymore, so I'm going to have to make different decisions to get out of pain. That's what this person is doing. Instead of burning books and being out in the cold freezing, this is a person who's like, okay, cool, you know what? I'm going to make some different choices, and I'm going to go knock on the door and ask for help and ask for support because I don't want to be cold anymore. So with the Explorer of Candles, it's someone who is committed to their heart's purpose and is pursuing it relentlessly. This Lionsgate portal is about stepping into your purpose, into your mission. So there are some of you that I know for sure, I can feel it very strongly, have been guided to do certain things, to step into your mission in some way. And you've been holding back, you've been kind of waiting for a while, and this is Spirit saying this is a time. If you've had that inkling, if you've had that prompting, it's time for you to do that. It's time for you to step forward into that Explorer of Candles energy, passion, commitment, and get on purpose. I can promise you this. If you were to coming out of the cold, determine that you don't want to be in pain anymore, and focus your energies on your purpose, focus your energies on what it is that Spirit would like you to do, what Spirit has called you to do, your life purpose, your mission, you're going to get out of this pain automatically, because you're going to be too busy doing the divine work to be too concerned with what else is going on. Literally, that is, I'm telling you this without any irony or any shadow of a doubt, that this is literally, if you step into your purpose and you step into your mission, it will help you to move through that pain, and you'll start to see more and more of the purpose. If you're just sitting in the pain and waiting for something, for a miracle to happen or something to change, you're just delaying it and encouraging it. So let's see what another message from the Wisdom from the Hidden Realms. Wow. The Dragon's Duel, Inner Conflict, Morality, and Conscious Choice. This is saying to me the exact same message. It's like you've been in this inner conflict for a while, and it's time to move out of it. It's time to get out of this. This says conscious choice. This is about recognizing that in everything we have a conscious choice. How we perceive things, how we the actions we choose to take, all of those things are a conscious choice. We are divine beings having a human experience. We do not have to be dictated by our emotions and being like pulled around like a ship on a stormy sea. It doesn't have to be how we live. We can choose to make a conscious choice and learn how to master our emotions so that we're not being in this space of inner conflict all the time. It's not easy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that this is an easy process. It requires effort. It requires discipline, but it is possible to happen. And that's what Spirit is saying is like, really, it's time to get out of this inner conflict. It's time to get into purpose and coming out from the cold, because this isn't serving anybody. So what advice do you have, Spirit, for people going forward from this point? The Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Wow. The Chariot. And the Four of Candles. So the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, this is when things are maybe not spinning as fast as we'd like them to be, or maybe not moving as fast as we would like to be. This could be in a card of, and many people would see it as a card of stagnance. I actually see it as a card of stillness. I feel like Spirit is saying, get still, go within. I'm right now thinking about meditation, and really getting into a quiet space of no music, no readings, just literally sitting quietly and being in the stillness and waiting. And I don't mean waiting like waiting around for like your divine counterpart to come around. I mean waiting to get a message from Spirit. I feel like those of us who intentionally cultivate and create space today to allow Spirit to speak are going to get some very clear messages. So I really encourage you to do that. And after the stillness ends, after the stillness, you hear that still small voice. Wow, okay, big energy surge just came through. Then it's going to be go time. Then it's the Chariot. Boom, move, move. So we've got right here, we've got this card and this card, which are both like in fast forward movement. So I really feel like it's important, it's critical during this time to take some time and get in that space of stillness, quiet, repose, allowing yourself to hear from Spirit. Whatever it is, set your intention today early. I'm doing this video early so you can really hear it and get this message. And sit and spend some time quietly and see what comes up, because I feel like it's go time. I feel like it's go time for a lot of people. I feel like once you just make the decision to get on purpose and to follow the counsel and the guidance that you're receiving, it's going to be go time. I have a feeling that for people who follow this counsel and who follow what Spirit is saying to them, that their lives by the end of the year will look radically different. And I mean radically different. Like what I'm seeing is people getting to the end of the year and being like, damn, I didn't realize how much I was holding myself back by being in this space. And now I get it. Now I understand what was going on and where things were happening. Now this is a 4 of Candles. Okay, so in the traditional tarot, this is a twin flame signifier. So, well, I'm not going to sit here and say, because I don't want to build up any expectations for people, but this is a card of union. This is a twin flame signifier. This is a card of celebration. It's milestones, achievements, feeling safety, feeling contentment, happiness. Feeling stable, feeling supported. So this could be to a couple of things. Excuse me. This could be actually physically coming into union with your counterpart, if that's something that is in the stars for you. And it could also be coming into inner union within yourself and coming into having that inner divine marriage within, which will then shift things on externally. But this is a positive sign. What this is saying is like that there's fast movement toward this outcome. Happiness, stability, fulfillment. And while it could again be connected to your twin flame, it could also be connected to other things like success financially, success in your career, creating the life that you want, creating a new social circle, maybe having a new business, something along those lines. It doesn't necessarily have to be with your twin. I have to remind everybody that we're never truly separate. If you're a twin flame, you are never separate. Separation is an illusion. And until we can get beyond that duality, get into balance and understand that, we'll still perceive not being physically together as separation. So this is related to your twin flame, absolutely, because you're one with your twin flame. You're not separate. We're one with our connection with our counterparts. So this is definitely a powerful message about that. So whatever this successful, wonderful outcome, it will be related to your twin flame. I'm not saying that it will be in union with your twin flame. I'm saying that it could be a career change that was sparked by your twin flame union. I'm thinking about this like my own situation. To do these videos, like to start doing videos, was literally prompted because because of my own connection. I probably wouldn't have done this otherwise. I did other kinds of like general readings, but I would never have like focused in and honed in on this the way that I have. And it's been like, it's been a complete shift in focus for me in my career and whatnot. And it's related to my twin flame. Absolutely. Like I think about all the time, like I would not have been here without him. And so I'm grateful, and I'm in so much gratitude for that. And we're not physically in union. So I think that that's an important distinction to make. So, Then we've got the Word Lord in reverse. And I'm going to look at this deck. This deck, sometimes the messages, if they don't read in reverse, so I want to make sure I'm looking at this right. But yeah, this one does. And it says, this is Challenger. It warns of untruth, denial, and unsupportive thoughts and words in any area of your life. If you've been dishonest in any way, it's time to make amends, change your tune. If others are being supported, so on and so forth. And this is saying about, this message is about how you speak to yourself, how you speak about yourself, what you're speaking into life. This is saying, like, look, if you're speaking destructive words, if you're speaking negative words, if you say mean things about yourself, about your twin, about your life, about whatever, other people, you're gonna reap what you sow. So this is the Spirit saying, really be mindful about what you're putting out there, because what we put out there can have great consequences or really negative consequences. It's really up to us how we go forward. So something to be mindful of. Spirit, I'm trying to think of okay, let me feel into what wants to come through. Okay, so the outcome. Dreamer of Tomes, beautiful. The Ace of Candles in reverse. And the Six of Cups in reverse. So the outcome of this is, the Dreamer of Tomes is somebody who plots and plans and makes some plans, sets a path, okay? So this is saying, like, the outcome for you, watcher, is to set your path, set your course. Make your plan. Figure out what it is that you want to do. Figure out what it is that you want to bring into the world and start taking steps toward that. You're going to start planning. You're going to start moving into that space of really start feeling like you have a plan, feeling like you have a vision, a mission, something that you want to do. That's what this energy is about. It's like make sure that whatever it is that you're planning, that you're taking it past the planning stage. So if you feel like there's something that you want to do it. You know, set a plan, get something in place, but then start taking steps. Don't let yourself get stuck. Too many times we get stuck in feeling like we need to over prepare. I know that for a lot of people, will spend like a ton of time preparing, and it's really just a procrastination. So this time, the outcome is that you will come out of this with a plan. I really feel like that's going to be really important. And this is saying to me, the way that this energy is reading is that a lot of people have been feeling stuck and feeling maybe a little bit uninspired, feeling just a lack of mojo, or your moxie feels like it's been drained. This summer has been intense, y'all. I mean, like, let's just be real. I don't know about you all, but I know for me, energetically, this summer has been intense, where I've just been like, oh my gosh, this is crazy intense energies. And for a lot of people, it's felt like, I don't know where my spark is gone. I've just felt unmotivated. So I feel like this energy of starting to build a plan and make steps to go forward is going to help this energy of feeling stagnant and stifled and feeling uninspired to shift. So even if your plan is specifically related to your twin flame connection, even if it's not necessarily about going into purpose, Spirit's saying, have a plan. Even if your plan is literally like saying affirmations every day, doing twin flame meditations, whatever it is, have a plan and stick to it, because that's going to help you feel inspired and feel that spark again. It's important to feel that. And then this energy, the Six of Vials, is in reverse. It is like having negative memories, okay? It's about this nostalgia, like looking back on the past but not feeling so great about it. And I feel like there's a lot of people who have felt that way. And I see it again in my comments and some of the readings where people feel like their twin was, kind of victimized them, and they look back at it and they think they have some like negative feelings. I feel like that energy is moving through. I feel like people are going to really do a lot of work. A lot of this Lionsgate is going to be about healing and releasing and letting go, taking the lessons and taking it to go forward, so that you feel more peaceful going into the future. Like, yeah, I understand that sometimes when our twins or counterparts do some things that are pretty shitty and it's hurtful and we feel bad and we want to, and we hold on to that. It's really important to release that and let it go. I feel like this is an opportunity to clear the slate emotionally and energetically, to really release that. So if you feel negative, if you feel some kind of way about your twin because of how they behave to you, this is definitely an opportunity to release that looking back with not so positive energy, so that you can release that energy. This is also a card that says that this card it speaks to reunions. This talks about sometimes this could be a reunion card, and if you don't work through this energy of feeling resentment or feeling negative toward the person for what they did or what went down, it could result in a not so great reunion, like a negative confrontation. And so that's not what we want. We really want to do the work that's necessary to flip this card around so it's just positive memories. And that can be literally just working on forgiving or recognizing the gifts that came through it. So I look at my situation, and yeah, there was a lot of ups and downs and some stuff that went down that was painful, and it felt bad. But when I really look at it, I feel like, well, there was so much more that was gifted through it too, that I can't even be mad about any of it. Like, I let the negative side of that stuff go a long time ago, because I realized that there was way more positive that came from it than the negative. And that may be just a matter of mindset and perception, but the point is that if I were to hear from my twin today, I would not feel bad. There wouldn't be like a negative feeling about it. It would just, I'd feel very peaceful, even though there was stuff that went down that was negative and not so positive, because I've done the work to release and to forgive. And so it's important to do that work, because this card is saying there is a possibility of communication and coming back together, crossing paths. How that interaction is going to go, it's going to be up to you and how much work you've done. So, and look at that. Holy cow. The last card that I'm pulling for this from these two decks, the Eyes of Beauty, positive expectations and clarity. This is Spirit saying, I'm going to scoot this back so you can see. This is Spirit literally saying, look, you have the opportunity to see this through the eyes of beauty. Can you look at it through the eyes of it being a beautiful situation, a beautiful connection, the gift of the connection, despite the pain? Can you look at that? Can you see the beauty, even though it was not necessarily a beautiful situation, even though sometimes it can be very difficult? That is when you know you're ascending. That's when you know that you're really starting to grasp the spirituality and the depth of the circumstance. I heard a pastor a long time ago talked about Judas, and it's funny because this message came when I was still going to church, and it came after I had just felt betrayed by two people that were very, very close to me, and I was pretty devastated by it. And this pastor preached a message about Judas. Judas was the guy who betrayed Jesus and sold him out for like 40 pieces of gold, and then ended up committing suicide because he felt so guilty about it. But what this pastor said, and it was like the first time that I ever heard this message, and he said, without Judas, then Jesus wouldn't have been crucified, and then the resurrection wouldn't have happened. So Judas was necessary for all of this to happen. And so the pain that was caused by Judas, and people in the Christian church have a lot of negative feelings about Judas, and this pastor was saying that Judas was so necessary for this process, and he was part of the plan for redemption. I don't believe in all of that, that kind of religiosity. I believe in the mythology of different religious texts, but the point is the same. That betrayal, I'm doing this finger quotes, betrayal was a necessary part of the plan to get to what needed to happen. And so that's being able to see things through the eyes of beauty. That's being able to look at a betrayal, to look at your betrayer, to look at somebody who's harmed you in the face and say, thank you. Really, I'm grateful, because had you not done this, I wouldn't have been where I ended up. I wouldn't have landed where I've landed. And that is when you know that you've kind of healed and moved forward. So I'm going to move these aside. I just want to pull a final message from Spirit from the Earth Oracle card, this deck. This is by what's her name? Alana Fairchild. But I felt like literally I was sitting here and getting ready to do this reading, and this deck like started speaking to me. So Spirit, one final message for the listener message from you, Spirit, for the listener about this Lion's Gate. Panthera. Ooh, I like that. The precious and rare. A panther. Of course, I'm all geeked out right now because, best movie of the year, Black Panther. Whoop, whoop. Okay. Panthera. It says, you have the strength to handle any challenge, even the ones that intimidate you. You may feel that you are alone in the fight sometimes, but there are forces of good in spirit and upon the earth that are fighting with you, supporting you, believing you, assisting you, and championing your success. It may not always feel like it, but you are not in this alone. Whoop. There is help at hand to uncover a piece of information that will allow truth and justice to prevail. It says, do not give up on yourself or the divine. You are not overreacting or making things seem more important than they are in truth. When, in the face of possible loss, something deep in our soul recoils in horror, it is a sign that something's not right. It is not a sign that we are too attached or not trusting enough in the divine to figure everything out. It's a sign that we must safeguard what would otherwise perish. So I'm going to skip ahead, and it says, let's see. We must not fall prey to the dark deception that tries to make us accept what is unacceptable by falsely attributing it to the divine. That is a message right there, because I get this all the time with people where they're like, that if this is divine, you can't let go of this. And that feels like not let go. And again, I'm not saying like giving up on your connection. I'm saying like releasing it to the care of the divine. And saying like, wow. The divine is very much needed to correct and restore the situation before negative use of free will creates irreversible damage. We have the power to evoke that protective and corrective divine presence through the wise use of our own free will, which involves taking conscious action while praying for courage, inspiration, assistance, and protection. Such sacred activism builds self-esteem and boosts our belief in what is possible for wise and courageous people to create together. We become unwilling to be hoodwinked or made to feel impotent in the face of unjust destruction. Instead, we rally and we rise. We gain energy and become fierce with divine healing energy. I'm not even going to say any more about that because that message is pretty damn clear. It's very much in alignment with what we're talking about here. Listen to Spirit, pray, and surrender, and ask for divine help. Ask for support in this journey, because this is an opportunity where I feel like there's just legions and legions of angels that are standing around just waiting for people to ask, and they won't step in until you ask for help. So use this time for this Lionsgate portal to ask for help. And I have this really strong sense that when you ask for help, that the divine and all your angelic support is going to come in roaring like a fierce lion, ready to help you do what you need to do. So I hope this reading resonated. Please let me know if you have any questions, and if you want to book a private reading, all the information on how to do that is in the description box. Take care. Bye.